You're watching a Highwire Media podcast.
Welcome to the Talkin' Texas Rangers show. As always, I'm your host, Larry Elise. Today's episode, we dive into the latest headlines from around Global F Field. We give you the latest injury updates, as well as news heading into the All-Star game. But before we do that, give me your thoughts on the Texas Rangers currently in the comments section below. How do you see them ending the season? Do you still think they can make the playoffs? Or do you think everything is kind of just falling apart and it's over? Let me know. With that, we dive into the first topic. Jon Gray is closing in on activation as the Texas Rangers have shared upbeat notes on Josh Boras and other injuries. After yet another back-breaking loss to the LA Angels, there is a spot of good news for the Texas Rangers. Reinforcements are on the way. The bad news is that reinforcements are set to join the pitching staff, an area that isn't Bruce Bochy's biggest problem. After the performance of Kumar Rocker on Wednesday, the Rangers may need some help in the rotation after all. Rocker's season ERA is back over 6, and he continues to look like someone who needs to figure things out before he can be fully relied on. Jon Gray is officially on his way back to the Texas Rangers. Earlier this week, the right-hander who fractured his forearm in spring training made his first rehab assignment with AAA Round Rock on Wednesday, allowing 1 run in 2 innings on 32 pitches. While the team doesn't know precisely how many other rehab assignments Gray will have, Bochy said he thinks the starting pitcher will likely get 4, depending on how he looks. That could mean he'll be back by the end of the month. The Texas Rangers bullpen could use some help, and it might be on the way. Josh Boras isn't as close to making his return as Gray, considering he's still in extended spring training. Still, he could embark on a rehab assignment soon. Boras has the velocity that is helpful on the back of a Rangers bullpen that is both tired and lacking anyone who can approach a 96 mile per hour average velocity that Boras boasts. And still, unfortunately, there's no timeline for Tyler Mahle. Gray's possible return by the end of July is significant because for now, it's unclear when Tyler Mahle will be back. A setback means it won't be July. The best chance for his return from a shoulder injury is mid-August. However, the longer the team doesn't have a real timeline, the more it feels like he might be done for the season. And the good news is, Joc Pederson is still on track for a late July return. Exactly 1 week ago, Bochy stated that Joc Pederson would be able to return from a broken bone in his hand in 3 weeks. That means we're down to 2 weeks until he's back. Pederson will obviously need a rehab assignment after being out since May. News on when that starts should come soon from the Texas Rangers. Let me know what you think on all the current injury news as well as updates. Let me know what you think the best player that is returning is. And with that, let's dive into our next topic. We're going to grade the Texas Rangers' last 5 first-round draft picks. The Texas Rangers have been surprisingly successful drafting in the first round since 2020. The 2025 Major League Baseball draft is less than 1 week away as top high school and collegiate stars hope to achieve a lifelong dream and get their professional baseball career started. The Texas Rangers enter the draft with the number 12 overall pick in just the 16th ranked farm system in MLB. That comes due to the trading prospects for a World Series title in 2023 and an influx of youth talent to Arlington over the last few years. As for the 12th pick, the expectations among sports writers is that Texas will grab a prep shortstop to eventually take over for Corey Seager when he moves on. But the Chris Young mold has leaned heavily in favor of college talent, so who's really to say? All we can do is take a look at the team's previous 5 first-round draftees and evaluate just how good or bad they've been at drafting in recent picks. So, back in 2024, Texas Rangers drafted Malcolm Moore, catcher. Unfortunately, this was a grade C. Not straying from the mold, Texas drafted a collegiate player first round for the sixth straight season, dating back to the 2019 selection of Josh Young. What did surprise maybe a bit of people was the draft of catcher, which Texas has never done first round. But the 21-year-old Stanford backstop impressed the organization during his 3 years as a Cardinal, which included Pac-12 Freshman of the Year honors and an impressive upgrade on lowering his strikeout rate and work behind the plate. Moore entered the season in high A, but suffered a broken finger in April, causing him to miss some time. Back to play, Moore is slashing .224, .384, .342 with 2 home runs, 12 RBIs, 22 strikeouts, and 17 walks in 23 games. He gets a C because he's not only still young, but he's been limited due to injury. Next up, Wyatt Langford, outfielder from 2023, and this is actually pretty easy. Grade of A. Easily the biggest draft win in the Chris Young era, Langford entered the organization as perhaps one of their most polished prospects in recent years. After playing with Florida in the 2023 College World Series, Langford played 44 games across the minor league system that year and then was on the big league roster for 2024 opening day. In his rookie year, he struggled to start the year, but ended hitting .253 with 16 homers and 74 RBIs in 134 games. This year, he's experiencing a bit of a sophomore slump with his average down and his strikeout numbers higher than expected, but he still leads the team in home runs and stolen bases, while being among the team leaders in slugging OPS, RBIs, walks, and runs scored. Langford is also much improved in the outfield. While he mostly plays left field for Texas, we've seen him hold his own in center field from time to time. Overall, for a 23-year-old in his second season of big league ball, it's not too shabby, very much deserving of an A grade here. Next up, Kumar Rocker, right-handed pitcher from 2022. And we give him a B-. Now Rocker is an interesting case because he was one of the best collegiate players in the era when he was at Vanderbilt. After getting drafted in 2021 by the Mets and not getting signed due to medical concerns, this 25-year-old played independent ball for a season before getting drafted by Texas third overall a year later. Probably possessing better stuff than his teammate Leiter, the right-hander got derailed by Tommy John in 2022. After recovering, he finally made his big league debut in May 2023, began the season with Texas this year. It started rough in 2025 and went to the IL in April with a right shoulder injury. He returned on June 4th when Nathan Eovaldi hit the IL and a bad start in Tampa Bay raised his ERA to 8.87 for the season. However, since then he's put in quality starts, not allowing more than 2 runs over his last 4 games, and his ERA has fallen to 5.8. Next up, Jack Leiter, right-handed pitcher, 2021, grade B+. The first of the Vandy boys to get drafted by the Texas Rangers, the 25-year-old looks like he's finally coming into his own this season after a brutal introduction to MLB last year. Last season's 9-game sample size, he appeared in 35 2/3 innings, and hitters just teed off on the rookie for a .297 average and ended the season with an 0-3 record and an 8.83 ERA. When he reported to spring training in 2025, his fastball velocity had kicked up the upper 90s, and people were excited about his future. While he still lacks the ability to put away hitters, he's very good at getting in pitcher counts. Leiter has a .432 ERA, 63 strikeouts, and a .322 opponent batting average in 75 innings. Not fantastic numbers, but a welcome turnaround from what the Rangers were seeing from him last year. Next, and finally, Justin Foscue, infielder from 2020, with a grade of D. Unfortunately, there's a tendency to grade on a curve for Foscue because not only was he drafted during a weird COVID season, but he also really hasn't been given a full fair shot in the big leagues. I understand that it's probably more of a chance than most get, but I still remain firm. I'm not a full F grade. The 27-year-old Mississippi State Bulldog was taken 14th overall in 2020, and since he's been pretty dreadful. He got his first stint in the big leagues last season and ended the year on an 0 for 36 stretch, which was increased to 42 hitless at-bats this year, until he recorded a double on July 1st against Baltimore. Even with that in mind, he's still only getting a D because of his lack of play. But he is scary close to a failing grade, if he doesn't start producing in the limited chances he's getting now, it will downgrade to that F really quick. Let me know what your rankings are for these players. And of course, did I get something wrong? Do you disagree with me? Do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments. Next up, this Texas Rangers pitcher got snubbed from an all-star game selection. A bad MLB rule and an ill-timed injury shouldn't have cost this Ranger a spot on the elite roster. The Midsummer Classic at Truist Park in Atlanta is right around the corner, and the Rangers' lone representative will be their ace, Jacob deGrom. He should have been joined by fellow rotation arm Nathan Eovaldi, but because of the one-team, one-player rule and an ill-timed injury reserve stint, deGrom will be flying solo instead. This dumb rule cost Eovaldi a spot on the AL All-Star team. The antiquated rule that each team must have at least one representative at the All-Star game is one of the factors that cost Eovaldi an AL roster spot. MLB can't replace no-brainers like deGrom, Tariq Skubal, Max Fried, and Chris Bubik. But two AL starters on the team as the sole representative for some awful teams and are not deserving over Eovaldi. Nathan Eovaldi is 6-3 with an outstanding 1.62 ERA and a .85 WHIP. Yet he won't be in Atlanta because the White Sox are so bad that their mandatory representative, Shane Smith, will be the Southsiders' mandatory representative. You could also make a solid argument that he deserves to go over Angels lefty Yusei Kikuchi, who is sporting a terrible 3-7 record with a 3.02 ERA and a WHIP 137. Eovaldi definitely deserves a spot over Smith, but MLB doesn't want to miss out on that big Chicago fan base that probably won't tune in to see their so-so starter maybe pitch an inning. Naysayers will point to Eovaldi's 83.1 innings pitched in recent time on the IL as the reason he didn't get a roster spot because his numbers are among the very best in baseball. Well, Shane Smith has only gotten one more out than Eovaldi at 83.2 innings pitched, and he got the nod from the commissioner's office with far inferior numbers. It is a combination of the ridiculous one-player rule and Eovaldi's unfortunate timing that led to his exclusion. Nevertheless, after tossing 6 innings and yielding just a single run in the Rangers' 13-1 beatdown of the Angels, he looks like an even bigger snub than ever. And before we move on, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Fanatics. All right, Ranger fans, listen up. Whether you've been riding with the team since the Nolan Ryan days, or you're still catching your breath from that 2023 World Series run, there's only one place to gear up like a true fan, and that's Fanatics. Fanatics is the go-to destination for official Texas Rangers gear. And we're not talking about random merch that kind of looks right. We're talking about licensed, player-authentic, stadium-quality gear. You want that Corey Seager World Series MVP jersey? Fanatics has it. A Dolis Garcia bat flip tee already in your size. Retro powder blues? Absolutely. And if you're trying to be the first to rock the newest City Connect threads, Fanatics is already ahead of the game. And it's not just jerseys. They've got hats, hoodies, banners, drinkware, signed baseball, and collector's items that'll make your man cave or office look like Globe Life Field. You can even get stuff for the kiddos, the pets, and that one neighbor who keeps borrowing your Rangers lawn chair. Yeah, they've got everything. Fanatics also hooks it up with fan cash rewards, fast shipping, and a jersey protection guarantee. So if your favorite player gets traded or changes his numbers, hey, it's baseball, it happens, you're covered. Bottom line, whether it's opening day or a doubleheader in August, if you rep the Rangers, Fanatics is your one-stop shop to do it loud and proud. So head on over using the link in the description and get your gear today. Fanatics, officially licensed, officially Texas, officially Rangers. And with that, let's move on to our next topic. So we're going to address some Texas Ranger rumors What return would an Adolis Garcia trade get Texas? What's a potential return for the 2023 ALCS MVP? Adolis Garcia is a consensus favorite to get traded from the Rangers by the July 31st trade deadline. While this makes a lot of sense, he's a low-cost, under-control option that provides a ton of pop when he's on. He's been playing one heck of an outfield, and his arm is among the best in the league. But with all that comes a lot of weakness and struggle, which might steer some teams away. A contending team still might take a chance on him because of his past performance in the postseason, which is a hot commodity. But would Texas even get a valuable trade proposal? And if they do, what would it look like? A few weeks ago, ESPN mentioned him as one of their top 50 trade candidates and put an 80% chance of trade. Listed among the contenders that would be the best fit was Cleveland, San Diego, Philadelphia, Seattle, and San Francisco. In return, Texas could find a way to get their farm system back on the right track. Knowing Garcia's tendencies, strengths, and weaknesses, the Padres' home stadium, Petco Park, is among the most friendly of confines to hitters. Among the middle of pack, Petco has 103 long balls and a ballpark factor 93, dating back to the 2023 season. The Padres could also use a designated hitter currently rolling with the Trenton Brooks and Gavin Sheets most of the time, and on occasion, Drake Cronenworth. That in mind, some Padres faithful believe right-handed pitcher Yanni Brito or catcher Brandon Valenzuela, apologies for butchering their names, in return to Texas. Now, while ESPN says it might be a fit in Seattle, I don't envision Texas sending him to a division rival, but T-Mobile Park is known to be an insanely pitcher-friendly park, which makes outfield defense much more important. It would be intriguing to see Garcia as a Giant or Guardian. He could fit in nicely into either of those lineups as a right fielder. Cleveland was also ranked as the 9th best farm system heading into the season with 4 players in MLB's top 100 list. If the Rangers are eyeing a pitcher, left-hander Josh Hartle is having a good season in high A with a 3.36 ERA, 72 strikeouts, and a 5-2 record in 16 starts. On the offensive side, Texas might decide to grab utility man Juan Brito, who is in Cleveland's top 10 with plenty of room for improvement. So, in the comments section below, let me know what you think. Is Adolis Garcia going to get traded, and who do you think he will be traded to? And now on to our next topic. Are the Rangers' playoffs hopes unraveling? Monday's quest for answers suggests yes, unfortunately. Another road gut punch leaves the Texas Rangers searching for answers as their playoff push begins to wobble. Not only was Monday night's loss far too familiar for the Rangers, but it's not the straw that broke the camel's back. That back is bending badly. Manager Bruce Bochy's comments after the game made that all too clear. There's no answer, Bochy said moments after storming into the post-game press conference. I'd like to give you an answer. There's no answer. Considering that no one asked the Texas Rangers manager a question before he made that statement, it's clear it's at the front of his mind. And that's not a good sign. Whether it's the camel's back or the season or Bruce Bochy's job, something is about to break. The Rangers lost 6-5 to the LA Angels on Monday night on a bases-loaded walk drawn by Nolan versus left-handed relief pitcher Hobie Milner in the bottom of the 9th inning. It was the first of a 7-game stretch against divisional opponents to finish the season's first half. It's also an essential part of a road trip, one that shows the team still hasn't figured out how to win on the road. If they don't figure it out soon, talk about what if the Rangers drop out of the playoff race will be replaced with, they did. And once that happens, then the questions become very different. The biggest question, even before the Texas leaves the playoff picture, is how much of the problems are on Bochy and Chris Young, and how much is on the players. It's hard to tell how much blame is shared with the guys pushing the buttons and how much is on the guys who are supposed to execute. One could say that the Texas Rangers are searching for answers. And now on to our next topic. back to more All-Star game content. Rangers lone All-Star is indicative of the team's 2025 issues and a painful reminder of the past. 2 years removed from 6 AL All-Stars, the Texas Rangers will go to the Midsummer Classic with only one player for the first time since 2018. If the past season and a half of baseball weren't eye-opening enough, only one Texas Ranger making the All-Star team will do the job quick. In the midst of a career resurgence, this 37-year-old Jacob deGrom was selected as one of the 12 American League pitchers in the Midsummer Classic on July 15th in Atlanta. However, for a Rangers team only 2 years removed from a World Series win and a franchise record 6 All-Star players in Seattle, only one in 2025 is a sad dose of reality. You will have to go back to 2018 to find a time when the Rangers only had one All-Star representative, thanks to outfielder Shin-Soo Choo. From that moment on, Texas always had at least 2 Rangers on the Midsummer Classic roster. Even last year, in a disappointing World Series title defense, the Rangers had 4 All-Stars at their home site in Arlington. However, 2025 is a new low, not only because of just one representative, but what it means to an organization that was supposed to be one of the best teams in Major League Baseball. The offense is one of the worst in the league. From the get-go, that has been the case. A bottom team in almost every offensive category. They've scored the 6th least runs, 4th worst batting average, and OPS, among many more. Now, if we were to put together an all MLB June team, Marcus Semien has a case to take the starting second base job. But before the month of June, he was hitting a paltry and ended the month of May hitting 193 and a 536 OPS. Outside of that, the rest of the offense has been either dreadful or spent way too much time on the injured list, and it tanked the first half of their season. Now, not all the 2025 season has been a disaster. First off, we have the deGrom comeback season. Beyond that, we can point to the season of Josh Smith, who might have been snubbed, and a handful of arms, Obi Milner, Robert Garcia, Nathan Eovaldi. Still, with those guys have good years, still doesn't shock me to see just deGrom wearing the Texas tee in Atlanta next week. Flashback to happier days 2 years ago on July 11, 2023. The Rangers sent 6 players to Seattle, 4 of whom started the game. That was the most of any single team to have all-star starters since 2012. That was easily the highest of highs for the Ranger fans, especially after having a record offensive first half and entering the post-All-Star break at 52-39 and a first-place hold in the American League West. While that lead didn't hold, we all know how the season ended with a World Series title. It may not be a big deal to miss out on the All-Star game, but it still stings a bit and shows just how bad this team is. Well, with that, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Give us a thumbs up if you like our video, hit the subscribe button down below, and of course, if you want to support the channel, you can buy us a coffee and scan the QR code right there. All the links are in the description, and anything you give goes right back to the channel, helps us grow our content, bring in new hosts, be able to pay them, and take this show on the road. We'd love to do episodes from Globe Life Field and games across the country, and your support can help make that happen. As always, thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll see you next time.